that platform once they're elected. I'm going to start with Mr. Murphy.
Well, as I said before, my name is Dave Murphy. I'm currently an at-large senator for ASBSU. This will be my second term. I'm also entering my junior year as a student for Boise State University. One of the things I plan on doing this next year, as I've done before, is promote cultural awareness on campus, promote awareness for international issues, not only local, but worldly and global issues. I'd like to also promote Green Campus. I would like to also promote tax-free textbooks. Also, what we'd like to do is promote promoting campus beautification. How we plan on doing this is through passing legislation to properly get funding from ASBSU contingency and ASBSU. That is all.
Thank you. We'll start with Mr. Henry in the same order. Would you like to speak on your platform?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Yes, okay. Again, my name is Senator Joel Henry. I'm currently an at-large senator with ASBSU, and during this past semester it's been my privilege to get to know how ASBSU works and just how I personally, and as I work as a member of a team, can make Boise State University a campus that we all want to go to and that more students will want to go to in the future. We live in an exciting time for BSU. Major accomplishments in academics and athletics have put us on the national map, and as we continue to grow, there's a great responsibility for the leaders to make sure that we grow in the right way and that we don't get too carried away with all the accomplishments we have achieved and think that we become invincible and impervious to bad mistakes. I am running on a 5-point platform. I'm calling a student-focused platform along with Senators Murphy and Senators Christian here. It is based on these 5 points. First, tax-free textbooks. We have been working this past year and we have made major footsteps in getting it to where we can have tax-free textbooks. The second point is campus beautification. I believe that as Boise State grows, that we can make this campus much more invitable by just doing little things all over the campus to make it more appealing. The third is a green campus. As we are all aware, our carbon footprint individually and as a whole needs to go down, and I would like to continue working on initiatives so that we might be able to reduce our carbon footprint. The fourth point is promotion for campus diversity. As Senator Murphy said, we need to be more aware of the diverse culture we have on campus, because I think we can all benefit from learning about other cultures. And then also, the fifth point is promotion of school spirit and traditions. We want Boise State to be a memorable place. We want the students not just to get a degree here, but also to get a lifetime experience that they can walk away from this campus with. I feel that these initiatives will help BSU grow in the right direction. As senator, I have made it my personal goal to make sure that every dollar of student fees are spent to help BSU grow in a way that benefits the students first, because first and foremost the university is about the students. And so this is why I'm running for re-election for Senator at Large. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to Ms. Montgomery.
Hi, my name is Bridget Montgomery, and I have a lot of experience on student government. I come from CSI, and I was a transfer student this semester. I previously have given 2 years as a senator and pro temp as well. For both years I was at CSI. This year I was appointed by President Gatecha as a senator at large, and through being on Student Senate, I was given the opportunity to find some things that I would like to work on if given the opportunity to serve the students again. And that would be, I have a 4-point platform. And the first one, which is really important to me, is open communication line, because I really feel like that is lacking in student government, and I feel like if given the opportunity to serve again, I really do feel that I could be an advocate for students, because I already am. I also feel that through open communication, you can also figure out the issues and concerns that are important to students, and then we can address them. Because if you don't know who we are, and if we don't, have you guys as students telling us what the issues and concerns are, nothing can get done and nothing can get achieved. So the next one that I have is to increase student and club involvement, and I want to do this by giving more fundraising opportunities for the clubs and for the students. And I really believe that with increasing the way to give them funds and things like that, then we would also be able to have them go on and show how great ASBSU is. I would also like to promote going for a more green campus as well. And I'm happy that being up here, whether or not what happens in the elections, that the people that are going on and taking on office will be able to achieve the going green. I would like to do this by utilizing our recycling efforts that we already have in place and getting some more out there. Also, going green also has a lot of benefits as well. We can get government stipends and things like that if we meet certain standards, and I think that if elected, I can achieve those. Also, we need to have more financial responsibility. We need to know where student funds are going, and we need to know how much we have in our student accounts to better serve the students. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Winkleman?
My name is Sammy Winkleman, and I'm running for Senator at Large with True Blue, including Kyle Tuckness and Bridget Montgomery. I'm a sophomore here, and I'm majoring in criminal justice. I'm not currently a senator, but I've been very involved with campus. I'm on Alpha Chi sorority, and I'm on a 4-point platform. It includes fiscal responsibility, which I think that it's strongly that we need to know where our money goes, and we were thinking about doing a newspaper so the students know where the money goes, and that's how we're going to get the students involved also. And I want to put myself on the same level as the students and not hold ASBSU higher than them or the club, so then they feel a part of us. And as long as the ASBSU is involved with the students, then the students are going to want to get involved with BSU. I also want to connect the students with administration, and we want to be the liaison between students and the administration so they know what's going on through the administration, and what they want, they'll come to us, and then we'll talk to the administration because we have the resources for it. And also, being a commuter student, I know that a lot of people don't like to get involved just because they don't live on campus, but I think that it's a great idea for us to recognize those people that are non-traditional and traditional, so as long as we can get them involved somehow, figure out their wants and needs, it'll be a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't worry, your turn's coming right now. Just so you all know, there is free food, taco bar for the people that are just coming on in. If you want to go ahead and grab you some good food, and go ahead and keep listening.
My name is Kyle Tuckness. I'm running with True Blue. I'm a junior majoring in communications. I'm the vice president, the current vice president of the Alpha Kappa Lambda fraternity. And my platform, the key issues on my platform, I like to deal with campus security and student safety, because as many of you probably know, the Arbiter did a paper about the issues with campus safety, and it is my opinion it is lacking, and it could use a lot of help, and I would like to be involved in helping build up the campus student safety standards. I'm a proponent for strong lines of communication between the student body and the ASBSU. I advocate student views to the administration that we work with. I like to promote student involvement with any clubs or organizations through funding, scholarships, just to get the word out on how beneficial it is to be involved on campus with these organizations and how beneficial it is not only to the campus but also to the individual themselves. And another important issue is the accountability for ASBSU with their finances, because in the end it's your guys' money that we're spending up here, and it is our responsibility as your senators to make sure that money is spent responsibly. Thank you.
And Mr. Christian.
Hello, my name is Courtney Christian, and I am currently the Senator for the College of Arts and Sciences, and I recently changed my major, so I'm now running for Senator at Large. I'm basically running so that I can continue to challenge ASBSU to be more financially and ethically responsible. Students deserve someone who will be responsible with how their student fees are being spent and what they're being spent on. They deserve someone who will actually execute these goals, and we should have goals that are actually executable. These things should benefit all students, not just a select few. I pay for my college tuition out of my own pocket. I pay the same fees as everybody here, and I think every dollar should be held accountable for. And that could be an improvement. ASBSU could definitely improve on those things. So I'm hoping to continue what I've been doing in ASBSU on the next year. I have a great relationship with the administration here at Boise State. I'm already working on several projects in accordance with some of the committees that have been formed for campus beautification. Along with Senators Henready and Murphy here, I want to make tax-free textbooks a reality, which is we're totally capable of doing that, and hopefully we can take some steps in the very near future to accommodate that. It will affect you all in a very positive way, and we can accomplish these things. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I just want to let you all know that I do have a paper and pen over here. If there's questions from the audience that you would like to ask the candidates, it will go to all the candidates. With that, we're going to start into our questions. We'll start with Mr. Henready. The question is, name one way that you have made a positive change for another student at Boise State University.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I was recently the sponsor of Senate Bill number 27. It was the spring break alternative trip to Honduras. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but a group of 20 students took a trip down to Honduras during their spring break to install clean water filters and to do service projects for the people of Honduras. Their estimated costs for the trip was around $24,000, and their airfare alone was around $15,000. And I wrote a bill to give them $8,000 to help cover about half of their transportation costs. This bill was passed unanimously by the Senate, and then it was vetoed by President Gatecha over a few technicality error questions that should have gone to judiciary instead of just an initial veto. And so I was able to push through and get that veto overturned so that we were able to keep approximately $400 in every student's pocket so that they were able to go down to Honduras and provide service.
Thank you. Ms. Montgomery, same question.
I'm really happy that you asked that. Being appointed in late February, I haven't been able to do a whole lot, but I have definitely gotten involved, and I definitely am an advocate for students. My biggest accomplishment has been revamping Pulse and being a part of that and sitting on that board and helping get the kind of advertising and things like that out about Pulse and things like that. So, and that's something I'd like to continue if elected.
Ms. Winkleman.
Thank you for asking. I'm currently not part of the Senate, but I think that with my open personality and people skills that when students ask me where to go on campus, and I have a lot of friends that are transfer students, I help them out and show them the ropes on campus. So just through the means of being friendly, I think that I've helped a lot.
You like seeing it?
I haven't done an incredible amount with the student body as a whole, but because I consider myself a friendly person, I go out and meet new people and make friends fairly easily. And one of my friends that I have recently, he's a student here at Boise State, who lost one of his children, and through that, the answer to the question is that I really helped this student out through his hard times, because he slowly watched his daughter pass away over the course of several months. So just being there for him, being a friend, and making time whenever possible to hang out with him, especially now that she passed away. I consider that to be a great accomplishment. I hope that he considers it one himself.
Thank you. Mr. Christian?
Well, I do a number of things with a lot of the committees here at Boise State, such as the Safety and Security, Committee here. I'm on the Red Fog Community, or the Recreation Board of Governors. And basically with those committees, I've basically been trying to push student value, individual student value on those committees, and how it's going to affect each individual student. Recently, during spring break, I actually met with one of the directors of FOAM, who's Facilities, Operations, and Maintenance, to try to get some classrooms updated so that desks could be more suitable for some of the larger students here at Boise State, just to promote comfort and just bare necessities that would make student life better for the individual student. I do everything that I can every day, so I really care about how money's spent, and I voted against several bills that I felt weren't the best use of student monies, of student fee money. I also helped Senator Henready with the Honduras bill, because I felt that it was an incredible opportunity for us to give money to students who were not only doing something great for themselves, but for another country, spreading Boise State to another country, and pushing us beyond the borders.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy?
Well, last year in my election, I overwhelmingly heard feedback from students of the smoking situation on campus. And I made a promise to students last year that I would work on the smoking issue on campus. I kept that promise. I was involved in a student-led committee called the Smoke-Free Campus Coalition. Since then, we have been determined to make Boise State University a smoke-free campus by 2010. I kept my promise, and I will continue to keep my promise in ensuring that Boise State University will be a smoke-free campus by 2010.
Making sure. I don't want to see your hand. All right, Miss Montgomery, put you on the spot. If elected, what is your first priority when you come into office?
That is a great question. I'm really happy that you asked that. My biggest thing is the open communication line, because I really want to come into office and to be able to know what are the issues and concerns right now that students have. That way we can get them fixed, and that way we can assure them that things are going to be done and dealt with within ASBSU. So.
Thank you. Ms. Bickelman.
Thank you for asking. Along with the open line of communication, I think that that's great for the student involvement, just because when we find out what the students want, then we'll be able to get them involved. So that's all I'm about, student involvement, spirit.
My first goal, if elected, would be to try and do something about the student safety and campus security. It's not just an issue that affects just a few students. There are several students that would benefit and that would affect. And if elected, that would be my first priority.
Mr. Christian?
My first priority would be to work on tax-free textbooks, something that will inevitably help out with the rising cost of tuition, hiring a lobbyist to work with the state legislature to ease the financial burden on every student here in Boise State.
Mr. Murphy?
Well, next year, one thing that I think is very critical is the funding that organizations receive. Personally, I feel that organizations do not receive enough funding. And I think the best way that students can see their money actually working is to give organizations more funding. I would like to work on the code and constitution which dictates how much money organizations receive. As students, as student leaders, student senators, we have the power to change how much money that organizations receive, and that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to increase the amount of funding for student organizations and clubs.
Mr. Henry?
This is an excellent question. The very first thing I will do if re-elected into office is make sure that we set a fiscally sound and fiscally responsible budget. Because as ASBSU, we cannot function until we have a budget. And I will make sure that the budget sent to the Senate by the elected president is fiscally sound and responsible. Like I mentioned in the opening remarks of my platform, we are growing and we are going to have more money next year, and we need to make sure that we don't get too crazy with that money, that we just start sponsoring everything just because we think we can until we get into the red. So the very first thing I will do is make sure that every dollar spent of that budget goes for promoting what is best for the students.
Thank you. All right. You're like, no, pressure's on. Okay, this is a fun question. I'm saying you have 30 seconds, but you have more than that. You can elaborate. All right, so you just stepped into the education building elevator and realized you're alone with Dr. Kestra. You have 30 seconds to tell him anything you wish that you'd like to change, that you like to see change on campus. What would you say?
That I want to see change on campus?
What would you like to see?
Thank you for asking. I'd like to see that non-traditional students feel a lot more welcomed at BSU and a part of BSU rather than just coming to school every day and going home.
Thank you. Any questions?
If I could say one thing that I would like Dr. Custer to change would be more promotions for less well-known groups and organizations. Like Boise is well known for its football team, everyone knows that, but it's less well known for other accomplishments this group that it has. Like several of our professors have been given state awards and national awards, and hardly anyone knows about those. And same with some of our groups and organizations. They've done a lot of great, amazing things that they hardly ever get credit for, and that's one thing that I'd like to change.
Mr. Christian?
I would probably ask him to be a little bit more involved with ASBSU in working on projects such as the tax-free textbooks, trying to impact each student as far as their financial responsibility is concerned.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy?
If I was in an elevator with Dr. Kestra, I would bring up the fact of our raising tuition and fees. We just recently had an increase, and I don't think it's right. It's expensive, and I think a way to avoid this for students is that we are grandfathered in to our fees and tuition. I think when we begin our education at Boise State University, we should be locked in to our tuition and fees. They should not raise yearly. And I think if Boise State University were to dictate what fees were when we started, we would be more conservative when we would raise fees to be competitive with other local schools. So my main concern to Dr. Custer would be, listen, once we start going here, we need to know what fees and tuition that we're going to pay, and we pay that through our entire education at Boise State.
Thank you. I'm wondering if you're going to push the stop button is what I was wondering. That's 30 seconds. You know, you hold the elevator, you can that. Oh. Yeah. All right, Mr. Henretti, what would you say in the elevator?
Well, thank you. This is definitely a fun question, and one that I would actually very much like the opportunity to actually do. I would first thank President Custer for doing an excellent job in making Boise State University a Metropolitan Research University of Distinction. But with that, I would caution him. It's very easy when we start getting more money as a university for doing research that we forget the students. So I would look him straight in the eyes and just plead with him to remember the students. In every decision you make, remember the student first. Will this benefit the student? And just make sure that he realizes that the university can have a name for the university, but we first and foremost want the students to be the starlight of the university.
Thank you. Ms. Montgomery.
I have a lot I would want to say to him in an elevator, and I would probably do what you did, pull the thing and stop for a long time. My biggest thing with trying to help revamp Pulse and things like that would probably be to get us out of the location that Pulse is currently in and try and lean more towards something that isn't streamlined and something that can be on air, not just streamlined as it is right now, just on Sundays, and then just streamlined over the internet, how it is. So that would be my big push probably. If I had him alone for a couple of minutes.
Thank you. All right, 5 words to describe yourself and why.
5 words. Fun, interesting, entertaining, experimental. Not in that way. And cautious. And the reason for those is that I like to try new things. I'm not boxed into any one category. If I feel like I'm getting too comfortable, I like to break out and try new things and meet new people. But I don't just go fly by the seat of my pants. And I think about things in a kind of business-like way, so that I see the kind of cost-benefit analysis, and I just try to have new experiences for myself, so that I don't get too bored. Yeah.
That's what you're experimental.
Yeah, experimental.
Mr. Christian?
5 words. Let's see. Leader would be one. Analytical. Smart. Although that would be a stretch. Let's see. Thoughtful. Team-oriented. Caring. I don't know. I mean, I care. You know, I guess the reason I say those 5 words is because, you know, I'll be 32 in July. So I mean, I care about my school, and I care about the students that go to this school and their experience that they gain from this school. I'm a former Marine, so and I was a leader in the Marines. You know, I care. You know, I'm on the security committee. I care about the security of each and every student here at Boise State. You know, I think I have some things to offer there. you know, and I care about how each student, their financial impact as far as going to school, and I care about those things.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy.
5 words to describe me. Dedicated, non-traditional, open-minded, outspoken, and ethical.
You want to say why? You don't have to.
Well, I'm a non-traditional student. I'm open-minded because I am open to new ideas. I'm very open to new ideas, new suggestions. In my campaign, I get a chance to learn new things from students. Outspoken because I'm going to say and I'm going to stand for what I believe in and what the students believe in. That's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henready.
5 words for what I am all about. Always put the students first. And I have done this as a senator by scrutinizing every dollar that comes through. I have voted against bills because I didn't feel that the money was being spent in a manner that benefits the students more than other ways. And I will continue to do that because when you can do a lot of things, you can say a lot of things, but when it all boils down to actually implementing things, it all comes down to money and how much money you have and how it's being spent. And in order for BSU to grow the way it needs to grow, we need to spend money wisely, and that is what I am all about.
Thank you. Ms. Montgomery.
Okay, I'm going to describe them as I go, okay? Assertive. I'm very assertive. I don't like getting pushed around, especially not by our administrator and things like that. Or our administration, I'm sorry. Not our administrator. Also, I would say responsible. I really want to push for the financial responsibility as well. And we really do need to do that as student body. Another one is dedicated. I don't do anything halfway. I go all the way or I go home, you know that whole football saying. Also, I am very truthful and blunt. If something isn't working, I say it and we fix it. That's how I do things. Open-minded. I'm very open-minded with just everything because that goes along with the whole open communication line. You know, you don't know if things aren't working if you can't go and talk to students and the students can't come talk to you. So.
Thank you. Ms. Winkleman.
My 5 words would be that I'm very involved. I'm a very personable person. I'm also passive though. I'm very outgoing and goal-oriented, and I think that ASBSU needs someone like me just because I'm a really good listener and I'm not very aggressive, so people are going to want to come talk to me because they're going to feel like, oh, okay, well, she's not going to like go crazy or anything. Not that saying I'm this sort of person's crazy, but I don't know, passive people are very laid back and go with the flow. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who wants to volunteer for the next one? I want to take favorites. I can't make it to everybody again. You want to go first? Okay. What do you believe is the most significant academic barrier facing Boise State University students, and what would you do to address it?
Again, I think the biggest barrier facing Boise State students is the financial responsibility of going to school. I mean, you know, it's $2,400 a semester. It's going to be more, I believe. It's getting worse, and you know, as that financial burden begins to grow, it's going to be harder and harder for students to continue to go to school. I mean, many of us are working. Some I talked to a student today who's working 2 jobs, and it's just it's overwhelming. And we, you know, us, you know, no matter whether it's me or anybody who wins, you know, we need to do everything that we can to make each student, you know, drop that cost so that each student can continue to have a long, successful career at Boise State and go on to do better things with their life.
Mr. Murphy.
Can you please repeat the question one more time?
Absolutely. What do you believe is the most significant academic barrier facing Boise State University students, and what would you do to address it?
Actually, honestly, when I think of an academic barrier, I think of the math part. I really do. The fact, I would have to say the cost of textbooks. The reason I bring up the math department is the price of math books are ridiculous. And not only the math department, but nursing as well. We're required a certain number of textbooks for the nursing department, and the cost is just ridiculous. With tax-free textbooks, we have the opportunity to take that 6% off of the cost of textbooks, and I think that will definitely help the financial burden of students.
Thank you. Mr. Henready, do you want me to repeat the question for you too?
No, I'm good. I'm in total agreement with Senators Christian and Murphy, and so as not to beat the same old bush, I think another academic barrier we have are the demands on our professors to publish and to do research. I had a professor last year who wasn't able to keep up with her grading, and it was directly due to the demands to publish. And going back to the question, what I would say to Dr. Kustra, this would be a direct relationship to this experience I had. Boise State, as a metropolitan research university of distinction, requires its professors to publish and to do research. However, students first. The students need to come first. And so if we're putting impractical demands on our professors, then the students come second or even last. And so I think that we need to maybe lessen the burdens on the professors and just put the students first.
Thank you. Ms. Montgomery.
Academically, I would say it would definitely be the math department, especially Math 108. I believe that's the course that a lot of students are actually held back and have to take a separate semester. Like, for instance, they could get done in 4 years or so, but they have to actually put that off and wait to get that. That was a really big complaint that we received while we were outside. And I've just been there for an hour. About, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I think 5 people actually mentioned that to us. So that's a concern.
Winkleman?
Working at the bookstore, I know that the books are a lot of money for the students, but it's the publishers that cost so much. And like, I'm in total agreement with the tax-free textbooks, but I think that a big thing is maybe talking to the faculty and the different departments about keeping the same textbooks instead of going every semester changing the textbooks. So I think that's a huge barrier for students and if they want to buy the textbooks or not.
I think the biggest barrier for academic success would have to is the hesitance in a way that students feel when they are struggling in classes. They are hesitant to go and speak with their teachers, and I think that if the professors were, they had more make them personable, make the students feel more comfortable to come in and speak with them when they're having hard times, or to help them through the course, because a lot of students are more successful when they have that one-on-one time with the professors and they know their professors, and they are feeling that they are being it's not just like one student in a class of 150, but they actually have some time with the professors to speak about issues that are going on in the classroom or things that they're not getting, or vice versa.
Thank you. I actually wanted to talk about Kelsey Farrell. She's actually one of the students that's on the spring break alternative trip. And so she's not here because I believe her flight landed maybe half an hour ago. So she's not here right now, but she wanted to be. I have a few comments from a few others that had class, and I believe that class is also important, and that it's not okay to just skip your classes all the time. So they have actually asked if I would read a statement from them. Boise State is a wonderful school, and as students we are fortunate to be here at such a dynamic time of growth. It is important that we make our voices heard to shape the growth and make campus a vibrant place for academic and social learning. In the past, ASBSU has sometimes been inaccessible to students who they exist to represent. ASBSU needs to be more available and accountable to the students of Boise State. For this sort of bold leadership, students Jason Denzek, Brandy Probst, Gracie Brigham decided to run for the position of Senators at Large to speak on behalf of students. Instead of being overwhelmed by growth, they feel it is the perfect time for students to make an impact on the decisions our school takes. If elected, Brandy, Jason, and Gracie pledge to actively seek out students' thoughts, support students and organizations, take full responsibility for all duties and appointments. Here are some of the changes the candidates want to see on campus. Gracie said that increased ties with the community, especially through volunteer opportunity events and student discounts at local businesses. Jason said that promoting sustainability, improving access to recycling, and advocating responsibility policy. And Brandy said improving campus life, promoting student health, and bettering campus infrastructures are such pathways for her. If anyone would like a copy of this, I'll be more than happy to give them a copy of that as well. And with that, I'm going to give each candidate 3, 4, 5 minutes to any last comments they would like to make. And I'm going to start with Mr. Murphy.
Thank you. Like I said before, this will be my second term as an ASBSU Senator. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. I spent the past year being there for the student. I placed all my votes for the student. When I voted for the Honduras trip, I voted for the students. It was $8,000 that contributed to a trip to help people in need in Honduras. I have other pieces of legislation. I'm bringing in Hanan Rashrawi for the Palestinian movement to promote awareness of the injustices of Palestine. I'd like to bring in also speakers for global warming. These are things that I have done proactively as a senator, and that I will continue to do as a senator this next year. Thank you.
Mr. Henready.
I want to run for re-election because I feel that I have contributed a lot to ASBSU and to Boise State University, and I feel I have a lot more to further contribute. When you go to vote, I just want you to remember that my platform is a student-focused platform. You come first. One thing that I want to do stronger next year is getting word out about the student fee hearing. When I first heard that we have student fee hearings, I didn't know what they were about, just like probably every single student here, except for very few, don't realize about the student fee hearing. The student fee hearing is where each department representative goes and gives testimony before the committee that decides student fee increases. They give testimony as to why they feel that they should get more money. And at this fee hearing, anyone can come and give testimony for or against it. And when I found out about this, I made it my personal mission to get the word out as best I could. And now that I know how the process already works, I would definitely like to next year push the word out even more. Just try and fill the room that's holding the hearing with students speaking for or against, because when it comes down to it, it is our money. It's your money that's being spent. And the State Board of Education listens to the students above all else. And so I would just like you to remember that I am all about the students first, and to vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Montgomery.
Okay, so to sum this all up, for me. Basically, I have a lot of experience, I believe, at least college, I have a lot of experience in student government. I love it. It's my passion. It's my club. I just love being an advocate for students. I love talking to students. I love students talking to me and telling me their issues and concerns, because then I feel like I can better serve them and I can accomplish the things that they want me to accomplish while in office. If re-elected, I just want to reiterate my 4-point platform, which is the open communication line, which I've already discussed, and I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about that, but come talk to me. To increase student and club involvement and through fundraising opportunities, and to create more of those. To utilize our recycling efforts so that maybe we can get maybe a stipend or things like that from the government to give us a little bit more money to go towards those student-involved and club-involved activities. And the last one is the financial responsibility, so we know where our student fees and funds that we as students are paying for and how we can track them better. So that's it. Vote for Bridget.
Ms. Winkleman.
I may not have as much as experience, but I'm welcome to new ideas, and I'd like to bring new ideas to the ASBSU. And I'm also on the 4-point platform, and I'm really in for student involvement and bringing the non-traditional and traditional students together, and the commuters, and just recognizing the diverse clubs that we have on campus. So vote True Blue.
Mr. Tuckness.
Basically, the reason that we're all up here is to serve the students, and if elected, I will do anything and everything that I can to fulfill that goal. And any questions, comments, concerns that students have, I would be more than willing to sit down and discuss or listen to on an equal basis. And also, along with my platform, I'm a proponent for student involvement. It's a fact that students who are more involved on campus are more likely to stay to finish, and they value the time that they spend here a lot more. College isn't just a intellectual facility; it's a social facility as well. And students who are active socially are more likely to excel intellectually.
Thank you. Mr. Christian?
Thank you. I just want to finish this up by saying, that I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that every one of your dollars that you guys put into student fees is going to go towards something that's not only responsible, but something that each and every one of you is actually going to use. Something that you can hold on to. Not just far too long. ASBSU has been people have just thought too much of themselves, and it's time to focus on the students. And I think I can do that. I think Gabe Murphy here can do that. I think Joel Henry can do that, and I think some of the other people that you're seeing here today are quite capable of do that. But you guys have to be responsible. Come out and vote and know where your money's going. And people that are dealing with your money need to know how to deal with it. If elected, this will be my second term as a senator in ASBSU, and I don't really consider myself to have that much experience in student government, but I do have a lot of experience in real life, and I know how far a dollar can go, and it's not very far these days. So. Again, we're going to do everything we can to make sure it goes as far as possible. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and if we can give a round of applause for all the candidates making it through. Thank you, and they'll be around to answer any questions if you have any.